Hey everybody! Hey, today's episode. I've been doing a lot of debating on what this one is going to be about, and I finally just realized, hey, why not just go ahead and do some mindfulness stuff? That would be perfect. So, if you want to learn how to do some mindfulness, maybe some like benefits of mindfulness, check it out and stay tuned. So I'm sure many of you might be wondering, what the heck is she talking about, this mindfulness business? Now, mindfulness is Zen based, but you don't necessarily have to be a Buddhist, or you don't have to be practicing that to be mindful in any way. My guess is actually you're probably doing some mindfulness and you're just not really aware of it. So what are ways that you go ahead and you can be mindful? You're probably being mindful maybe while you're driving and you're not really like thinking of anything else. You're just focusing on driving and cruising the road and whatever. You're probably also mindful about listening to your favorite songs because you're jamming out and you're rocking and you love the song that you're listening to. Another thing you can be really mindful of is if you're eating like your favorite candy, or if you're eating your favorite food, and you're not just shoveling it all into your mouth and because it is so good, but you're being very mindful and you're like, oh my God, and you're like savoring it. It's so good. You can also be mindful with like coloring, because adult coloring books are like really, really popular now. So recently I found this thing on Pinterest. I love Pinterest. Yeah, look at it mindfully. So there's 15 things that people who are mindful do differently. So I'm going to go through each one of them just so you can kind of identify, hey, maybe this mindfulness stuff is kind of good and maybe I should start looking into it and practicing a little bit. The first one is they don't believe their thoughts and they don't take them all that seriously, okay? Because thoughts are not necessarily facts. You can think, oh, I'm a stupid person, but am I a stupid person? Well, probably not. They just say, well, they're thoughts, and that's what they are. Thoughts are thoughts and nothing else. Okay, the second one, they don't try to avoid or deny emotions, because emotions happen and they're there for a reason. If you look at the caveman days, there was a reason why they had fear, because they needed to get away from like mammoths and like saber-toothed tigers and all that other stuff. The third thing then is they understand that all things can come and they go. And the only constant in the world is change. And so you have to be able to let things come and they go and they come and they go. Okay, fourth thing, they do one thing at a time. So you literally just do one thing at a time. If I was going ahead and if I had a phone call and I was doing this video right now, I don't think I'd be very productive, because you'd be listening into my phone call, or the phone call would be listening into me messing up on these videos. And so that just really wouldn't be all that productive. And the fifth thing, they turn everyday tasks into mindful moments. Okay. So John Kabat-Zinn, he's a very famous, he's like pretty famous. He's like really famous, actually. He's even on Oprah. He's like a mindfulness guru. And he goes in and he says, if you're walking, you walk. If you're talking, then you talk. If you're in the shower, be in the shower. If you're eating, then you eat. And that's really all that you do. You just do all those things and you just do them very mindfully and you do them one thing at a time. 6, practice being curious. You have to go ahead and you have to be curious to then identify what are possible reasons as to why I'm feeling this way. What are possible reasons as to why I want to do something, or even to other people. Why would be possible reasons as to why this person is yelling at me? So instead of reacting, you can become curious. Okay, number 7, they get outdoors and embrace the beauty of nature. So sometimes we get so involved in our cell phones and we're like on them and like all the time, and then we just completely forget about everything else that's around us, and then you ignore like the birds that are singing beautiful sounds, and the beautiful flowers that are blooming right beside you and everything else, and then you just don't necessarily appreciate it very much. Okay, number 8, they enjoy every bite when they eat. For me, that's kind of difficult because I love food. But it is true. They go ahead and they can, earlier I was talking about how people just kind of like to stuff their face, and sometimes I do that. But if you go ahead and if you slow down, then you can enjoy every single bite, and it becomes just really more meaningful to be able to enjoy what it is that you're eating. Okay, number 9. They slow down when reading and truly take in the information. When I was going to school, I had this classmate, and she read crazy fast, and I was so um, envious of how fast she was able to read because it took me forever to read it. And then I thought there was like something wrong with me that I couldn't read very well. Later, it was probably found out that I had astigmatism, and that's probably why I've read so slow. Now I can recognize, oh, hey, actually, when I go ahead and I read slowly or slower, then I'm able to take in that information and I'm able to consume it. And then I recognize how powerful it could be. Okay, number 10, they are fully present when listening without trying to control or judge. Oh, this is huge because don't we love to control? Oh, I want to control. Also judging, like it's probably human nature to judge. When we're able to go ahead and listen, then we can listen without having all that other judging going on, and then we can listen to really what the message it is that the other person is saying, as opposed to just jumping to conclusions. Number 11, they take mini breaks every hour or so when working or studying. And it's actually really more productive for people to be able to do that. And because then they're able to kind of like decompress, they can go ahead and their mind allows them to kind of slow down. So much like if you're working out and you're doing an intense workout, it's good to take those little breaks. So when your brain is working really, really hard, it's got to take those little breaks too. Okay, number 12, they laugh at themselves. Same thing that I do with these videos. Oh my God. I'm sure that all these outtakes, maybe like one day I might put out like an outtake clip. I have lots of them and they're just ridiculous. I might do that one day. Okay, 13, they focus on what they're doing. So again, it goes back into that one thing at a time. So you're just focusing on what it is that you're doing. That's all it is that you're doing. So whenever I make all those outtakes, I'm obviously not focusing on what I'm doing because then I'm thinking about other things. But then I can go ahead and I can refocus and then I can get back to what I'm doing and what I want to say. 14, they challenge existing beliefs. So for pretty much every single person on this earth, we have what's called like core beliefs about ourselves. And sometimes those core beliefs happen like way, way a long time ago when we were like a little kid. They can even go ahead and they can continue throughout our life. And then we go ahead and then we are like 30 and then we constantly think that we're like a horrible person. But really it's from those core beliefs. And so someone who is able to be mindful about those thoughts that you're having, then you can start challenging those core beliefs. And then you can start kind of thinking like, oh wait, maybe I'm not such a horrible person after all. Yes, I went ahead and I held a door open for an old lady. That doesn't mean I'm a horrible person. Good job. Okay, the last one, number 15, they nourish their bodies. Okay, so whatever it is that a body needs, then they're able to go ahead and fulfill that. So if your body needs some water, then they have some water. If your body needs food and just enough food and not like going to McDonald's every single day, they're not necessarily doing that because they're very mindful about what it is that they need and what their body needs, not necessarily what their body wants, because those are two different things. And that's for another episode. So let's find out some other ways that people might practice mindfulness, because there's a lot of different ways. So hold tight. So when you go ahead and you do mindfulness, you're really just doing something like in the moment and you're not really focusing on anything else. So whether you're putting on some makeup or maybe you're editing a video, really it's just focusing on one thing at a time.
Chloe dropped her Mickey Mouse or something and was having a nervous breakdown. So I was leaning down trying to find it so that I could silence her. And apparently the person in front of me in the drive-thru had proceeded upward.
So you could just watch your favorite video or even read the book that you love or even watch some hummingbirds, which I got to do over the past weekend, which is pretty cool. So as long as you're just present and you're just doing that one thing at a time, you're being mindful. So as always, remember to catch me on Facebook, Leslie the Clinical Social Worker. You can also go to our Compass page. See you next time.